The amount of books that are surrounding me right now is concerning. It's fine. Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today we're doing a book haul. Recently, I went on our annual Book Two Besties trip, and I met up with my friends, Krista from Books and Jams, Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library, and Amanda from The Curly Reader. We went to Madison, Wisconsin, and we had a wonderful weekend together, just book shopping and hanging out and laughing. I have not laughed that much in a very long time, and just having a great time. We had so much fun. There are videos out of our trip. There's a vlog. There is a scavenger hunt game. There's a Pictionary game. There's a gift exchange. And so I will link all those videos down below if you haven't seen them. They're on each one of our channels. So if you haven't checked those out, definitely do that. But I do have a book haul because brought home some books. But I will proudly say, of all four of us, I got the least amount. I'm proud of this. I'm proud. I ended up with 20 books total. I had 19. I had 19 in my suitcase. I purposefully packed light because I knew I was going to bring some books home. I was not expecting to bring home 19, but I did. And then I bought one book at Barnes & Noble, like on the way to the airport, because I finally found something I had been looking for the entire trip. So ended up with 20 total. One just went on the plane with me, but yeah, I fit 19 books in my luggage. It's fine. I planned for it, and it was fine. I was still underweight on my suitcase, but yeah, we had to fly. Chris and I flew, so it was still a little much, but it's all right. Okay, I'm going to show you what we got. We went to so many different places. Madison is a fantastic place for book lovers. I'm telling you, there are so many options. We hit library sales that just happened to be going on while we were there, so that was lucky. We hit quite a few used bookstores. We hit a couple thrift stores, and we did go to some independent bookstores as well. And I will show you everything that ended up coming home with me. Okay, so let me start off with a gift. I was gifted a book while we were there. Was not expecting this at all. So we did a meetup at the University of Wisconsin, and we were like in the student center, and we posted on social media that we were going to be there. So if anyone wanted to come out and meet us, and we did. We had 6 people come out, you guys. It was so awesome. And we were so surprised and humbled. We were not expecting that many people. And so one person came, Sarah, I'm looking at you. She came and she brought us all books. And I was like, what in the world? And it was so sweet. And so she had this in her hand. I was like, please come to me. Please come to me. Like, I really want to read that book. And it's The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I have heard such good things about this book. I don't even know what it's about. Let's see. Okay. Oh, this is so much more messed up than I was anticipating. So I had heard vague things about this. I knew that it involved a woman who is like literally a housemaid, like a nanny almost, to this family, and that she lived in the house with them. But I did not expect what I just read. Okay, so she is the housekeeper of this house. So she cleans, she cooks, she picks up the kids from school. Basically anything that needs to be done is done. And then she lives in a room like on the top floor of the house. So she lives in the house, but like kind of sequestered away. And then she starts really noticing things that are happening with the family, especially with the wife of the family. And she ends up doing something that gets her in a little bit of trouble with the wife. And so things start kind of going downhill from there. But she holds her own secrets, and she's capable of a lot more than they were expecting. I've heard really, really good things about this book, you guys. And I keep seeing the cover, and I keep hearing people say like, this was so good and messed up. And I'm like, oh. So when she pulled this out of the bag, I was like, please come to me. And then she gave it to me. I was so happy. Sarah, thank you so much. Seriously, I cannot wait to read this. She also had this tucked inside. This is an erasable pen bookmark. So you can write, in your book. It's a bookmark. So see how thin it is? It's a bookmark, but you can write in it, and then you can erase it if you need to. How cool is that? So you can like annotate, you could put whatever you want in there. How cool. So Awesome. I cannot wait to use this as well. This will be fun. So Sarah, thank you so much. You did not have to do that. Okay, so we're just going to go in order of, I kind of grouped them by where we bought them. So these next two are from a library sale. I got them at the same library sale. First one is All American Boys by Jason Reynolds and Brendan Kiley. And the other one is Look Both Ways by Jason Reynolds. I love Jason Reynolds. I have read a couple of his books and I knew I wanted to read more from him. He's an author I would like to read everything from. So when I found these for 50 cents at a library sale, obviously I'm going to grab that, especially this one. I was really excited to see this one for sure. This one has a couple awards on here, which is awesome. And then this one too. So I grabbed these up real quick at a library sale. Okay, so this one follows a young boy named Rashad, and he is not having a good day. And I think it ends up with him having a run-in with the police, and it just doesn't go very well. So this is very much like a young Black boy dealing with police officers. And then this one is really interesting. This says A Tale Told in 10 Blocks. So it's following a young boy, I think, on his way home from school and just like some of the crazy things that happens on his way home from school. So that sounds kind of fun. The next one that I got at a library sale is Falling by TJ Newman. This has been on my radar for a while. Lindsay read this and really, really liked it. Okay, so I believe this one follows, it's a plane and a pilot, and I believe he ends up getting blackmailed. I don't know if it's by a passenger on the plane or I don't know how all that's happened, but he ends up getting blackmailed and he is told to crash the plane or his family will be killed. So he's stuck choosing, do I crash this plane and kill myself and all these other people, or do I not do that and risk the lives of my family? So I think it's that. I've heard really, really good things. I've heard it's really intense and that it's just like a crazy time the entire time. And I'm excited to read it at some point when I'm not going to be flying anytime soon. So not right now because I am flying in December. So I have to wait on that. Okay, next up we hit a couple thrift stores. First one was Goodwill. We found one, so we went in and I did find a couple things. So Al Capone Does My Shirts. This is by Jennifer Koldenko. I don't know how to say her last name. This is one that was recommended in our BookTube Besties reading retreat, and it was one that I added to my list because it sounded really good. This follows a young boy in 1935, and he is living with his parents. His dad ends up getting a job at Alcatraz, and they have to move and actually live at Alcatraz. And while he is there, Al Capone is a prisoner there, so he gets to know him. How cool is that? That is so cool. So it's a little middle grade, and I know it'll go really quickly once I do read it, but I'm excited to see what this is all about. And it was something that caught my attention, and I got it for 50 cents. The other one that I found at Goodwill is one that I was looking for. I was on the hunt for this one, and that is The Historian. This is by Elizabeth Kostova, and this one was recommended to me a whole bunch when I did our book list video about dark academia books. So many people were saying The Historian, really, really good. Pick it up, really, really good. And I was like, really interesting. So I was excited to find a really in good condition used copy of it. So I can add this to my shelves now. Okay, and then we hit another thrift store called St. Vincent's, which is, I think it's kind of there's multiple locations of those. And they had a really decent book section, and it was great. So I did find two books there. The first one is Friends Like These by Kimberly McCreight. I have read books by her, and I really, I enjoyed what I read. I think I've read one, but I enjoyed it enough that I would want to read more. And I do have a couple, I think I have at least one more other of her books on my shelves, but I was excited to add this one because this is her newest release, and I was excited to get this. This is definitely dark and messed up friendships, and I think it might be a little bit of a reunion type thing as well. So yeah, I'm excited. And I found this book for $2.69. End of Watch by Stephen King. Hardcover. Perfect. This thing is perfect. I got it for $2.69. What? And it's so pretty. This is the third book in the Mr. Mercedes trilogy. Do I have the first two? Not yet. But now I'm going to be on the hunt for them in hardcover so that they all match. But Stephen King is one of my favorite authors. I am 100% collecting his work and eventually want to be able to say that I have read all of his work. But the Mr. Mercedes trilogy is definitely one that I'm very, very interested in. And yeah, I just need to get the first two now. But very excited to have this one. And Lindsay dug it out of a box for me because she's awesome. Okay, now we're going to go into some of the used bookstores. So these are like independently owned used bookstores. And we found a few. The first one was the Book Deal. And this one is where we did our scavenger hunt in that video. And it was so cool, you guys. It was like multiple rooms. It was huge. There were so many books. Most of them were $4.99 and under. There were some that were a little bit more pricey because they did have like rare and collectible stuff as well. But we could have spent hours in there. I think we did spend quite a bit of time in there. And it was awesome. I found one book. I only found one because I was being so picky. But it was one that was on my list that I was looking for. And that is The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. Now, I've read this. However, I don't remember loving it. And I remember thinking, I feel like I should have loved this more than I did. And thinking I would need to reread this at some point because I feel like I really should have loved it. And I just don't remember having those feelings when I read it. So I need to reread it to see what I think. I've been planning on rereading it at some point. Well, we got into this discussion in our BookTube Besties reading retreat. And this book came up and it was like, so many people were wanting to read it. And so we decided to do a read along with our BookTube besties who came to the retreat. So in October, we're going to be doing a group read along with some of the people who came to the retreat with us. So that's going to be fun. I'm definitely going to be reading this in October. And I was looking for a used copy because I unhauled my copy that I had. I don't know why, but I did. And I regretted it. But I found it for $3.99. Okay, so the next stack all comes from the same bookstore because we went twice. We went initially, it was a used bookstore that we found, and so we wanted to check it out. And then I got 4 books on our first trip. And then the second trip, we took the people who came to the meetup with us because we just knew it was a great close by bookstore to go to. And then I got 2 more. So yeah, it was amazing. So these all came from the Frugal Muse, and it's an incredible bookstore. I think that was my favorite bookstore of the entire trip. Just so many options. It was incredible. So I got Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. Now I have read this book, but I got it from my library when I read it, and I never picked up a physical copy for myself because I don't know why, but I've wanted it. I just haven't been able to find it used anywhere. And I found it. And I got it for $4.98. I love this book. This book is so good. I want to reread it. It is a book told in verse. It is a book that takes place over 60 seconds. It is one elevator ride down. It is a young man who is dealing with the shock and loss of a friend of his and him going on this elevator with the intention of getting revenge against the people who took him. And along the way, he is encountering many different things that are causing him to rethink his decisions. It's so good. You guys, this book is so good. So yeah, I wanted a copy and now I have it and I can reread it whenever I want to. So yeah. Okay, another one that I don't own, but I have really been thinking about because I've just heard such great things about it. That is The Storied Life of H.A. Fickery. This is by Gabrielle Zevin. This is the same author of, her newest one was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. So that one's making the rounds right now, but this was also written by her. And I believe this is a bookstore owner who ends up finding an abandoned baby on the doorstep of the bookstore, from what I'm remembering. I hope that's correct. But yeah, I'm really excited to read it. And when I found it, everyone was like, yes, get it. So, okay, another book that was on my list to look for And I actually found it at the used bookstore. I was shocked. I did not think I was going to find this at the used bookstore, but that's Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. This has been such a buzzed book over the summer. I mean, like, this was the book of the summer. Everybody was reading it. Everybody was loving it. And I was like, okay, I need this book. And the buzzwords for this one are comparing it to Christina Lauren's book, Love in Other Words, which is one of my favorite books. So I was like, yes, please. So the tagline here is 6 summers to fall in love, 1 moment to fall apart, a weekend to get it right. So definitely going to be like a second chance love story. And yeah, I found it cheap at the used bookstore. I was like, what? I was really shocked. So I snatched it up so fast. Okay, this next one I found because of Kelly. So Kelly was one that came to our meetup, and she found it and was talking about it. And I was like, oh, is that over there? And she said, yeah. And I was like, is there another copy? She's like, yeah, there is. There's one more copy. And I was like, sweet. So she ended up finding The Rosie Result by Graham Simsian. So this is book number 3 in the Rosie Project trilogy, I guess. I think there's only 3 books, but there's The Rosie Project, The Rosie Effect, and now The Rosie Result. So I didn't have this one, and I definitely knew that I would want it. I would want to read all 3 of them. So yeah, but thank you, Kelly, for finding this. And I heard her talking. I was like, wait, is that over there? She was like, yeah, it's right here. So I grabbed a copy too. Okay, this next one is the biggest book that it's the biggest book that I purchased, size-wise at least. I found Legacy of Steel by Matthew Ward. This is book number 2 in an epic fantasy series. I have book number 1 on my gifted cart because someone sent it to me. I still don't know who. It never came with a slip, so I didn't know who sent that to me, but I got it at some point. Legacy of Ash is the first one. And this is book number 2, and book number 3 is out already. So it's a trilogy that's completely out. They did not have book number 3, but I grabbed book number 2 for $7.98. Yes, please. Because this is a thick, huge fantasy. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I don't know what this is about. And I don't care. It's beautiful. John Gwynne blurbs it. Like, I don't need much else to get me to pick up a book. So I need to pick up the first one so I can read this one as well, and then possibly grab the third one if I want to continue with it. But yeah, and I've really been kind of craving a big epic fantasy series, like big, thick books. So I'm thinking this is going to be the one I gravitate towards over the winter. I think this would be a good idea. So I'm keeping this very, very close in mind and close at hand because I think I might pick up the first book over the winter. So, but yeah, I couldn't pass it up. Okay. And the last one that I grabbed at that store was The Diamond Eye by Kate Quinn. This one was $13.98. So this was a little bit more pricey, but still cheap for a hardcover. This is her newest. And I have read Kate Quinn and I have loved what I've read so far. So I definitely want to read more. And I have, I have a couple. I still need to read the Alice Network. I still need to read the Rose Code, which I do have on my shelves. But this is her newest one. And Amanda has read this one and just said that she absolutely loved it. I feel like Krista might have read it too, possibly. I don't remember, but I know Amanda did because her and I were talking about it when I was picking it up. So yeah, it's going to be a World War II centered book about women playing some sort of role. There is a map, a pretty map. Yeah, so that's all I need to know. But Kate Quinn, she's a fantastic writer. Okay, so a couple from independent bookstores. We did go to a couple of independent bookstores and spent some money in there. So these 2 came from one called Mystery to Me. Has a lot of mystery books in it, but it is like, it's everything, but they kind of feature a lot of mystery books and stuff. I ended up getting a couple of YA novels. These are by TJ Klune, who I love. So I ended up getting The Extraordinaries and Flashfire, which are the first 2 books in the Extraordinaries series. I think book 3 is coming out soon if it's not already out. They didn't have it there, so I'm kind of assuming it's not out yet. But the third one is Heatwave. It's right there. So these are like superhero type of books. I've heard kind of comparisons to like DC and, Marvel and stuff like that. So, and it is queer as well. But I'm very excited to get into these. I've heard good things about them. So, I saw the first two and they were not super expensive. Like these were both under $12. And then we got like a mystery discount at the registers and I got 15% off. So pretty happy about that. But yeah, so I went ahead and grabbed these. And another one that was on my list to buy, and I knew I was going to get it at an independent bookstore because this is a brand new release. And I wanted to grab it because I've heard such great things about it. And that's The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich. This is all the rage right now. So many people are talking about this, including Lindsay. She read this for a book club and she could not even wrap words around her feelings for this book. And she was telling us about it. And I was like, okay. And I'd heard good things, but like hearing her talk about it made me go, okay, I need to pick that up. And so I plan to pick it up on our trip. So this follows a situation where everybody on the planet gets a package delivered at the same time. It doesn't matter where you are in the world or in your life, you get this package delivered to you. And inside the package is a piece of string, and that string indicates the length of the rest of your life. So if it's a short string, you don't have much longer. If it's a very long string, you're going to live a long life. And the implications of that. And Lindsay was saying that it goes into places that you probably wouldn't think about. Like, you don't have to open this box, so you don't have to know how long your life is going to be. And if you don't know, how is that going to affect you in society? If you have a short string, you might have trouble finding a job because people know that you're not going to be around for very long. You get treated differently if you do or don't open the box, and just like all sorts. She was talking about all sorts of things, and I was like, whoa. So she said it's definitely something that really, really makes you think. And I love that. So I was very happy to pick this up. I got this one at the Arcadia, which is a gorgeous independent bookstore in Madison. It was beautiful. And so I picked it up. But yeah, I'm very excited to read it. Okay, and last, but definitely not least, this book came out in August, later part of August, and I have been looking for it in the stores ever since, and I could not find it. None of the Barnes & Nobles near me had it. None of the independent bookstores that I tried near me had it. And I'm like, why can't I find this book? I literally could not find it anywhere in a storefront. Amazon, yes, I could have gotten it on Amazon if I wanted to, but I wanted to like support an independent bookstore at least. Had not been able to find it at all, even at Barnes & Noble. Like they just didn't have it in stock. And I was looking on our trip. None of the independent bookstores had it. These bookstores did not have it yet, which didn't surprise me at all. But I thought at least like the independent one would have it, but no. They were sold out. So I found it at Barnes & Noble on our way to the airport. It was the very last stop. We were literally just trying to kill some time. So we went into Barnes & Noble and I found it. And that is Babel by R.F. Kuang. Okay. Babel. Let's talk about that. Some people say Babel. Some people say Babel. You can say it either way, I'm guessing. But I scoured to try to find an interview with her where she said the title and she said Babel. I did hear it. I was like, oh, she just said it. She said Babel. But the interviewer said Babel. And he was a British interviewer, so there is that. But she said Babel, so that's what I'm saying. And that's what I've been saying anyway. So this is like a dark academia. It has a little bit of fantasy elements into it. I think it's very light fantasy, but there are some elements. And this is more, I think it's set in the 1800s at Cambridge, and it's about women and their role and things like that. I've heard incredible things about it. So I'm very excited to read it at some point. I don't 100% know when I'm going to get to it, but I do have it now. I have been looking for it for a month and a half, just about, and finally found it. So yeah, I'm very excited. Also on our trip, I got some bookmarks. So these were all gifted. The first one was actually, I can't remember who it was, but someone sent these for, I think they sent them to Amanda for us to be able to have. And she painted them herself. How cute are these bookmarks? And they're nice and long, so I can use them in big books, but she painted them herself. And so, oh, it's on the back here. Weiss? I think that's Weiss. She signed them on the back. But yeah, like they are so beautiful. And so all four of us got to pick one. And they're all a little bit different because they're hand painted. I feel like maybe she made like a big picture and then cut them up. So each one's a little bit different. So beautiful. I'm so excited to use this. So thank you if you were the one who, sent those for us. And then the rest of them, Amanda actually brought us some of her fall bookmarks that are going to be live in her shop. If they're not already live, they're going to be live very soon. So like maybe even tomorrow. So I'm going to leave Amanda's Etsy shop down below, but she does make and sell bookmarks. So I will show you her fall collection. These are going to be available very soon if they're not already. So this first one is so beautiful. It's got these beautiful like mountain landscape here. And there's a quote on it that says, "Fairy tales do not start, nor do they end at the dark forest." And that's from Ted Lasso. So that's really pretty. This one here is like a brown plaid. And the quote is, "Fall makes me want to wrap up in a blanket and get lost in a good book." Right? I think that's how we're all feeling right now. This one has books and leaves on the cover, on the bookmark. On the cover of the bookmark. And same on the back here. So just a really pretty brown with like the leaves and the books, which is awesome. This one is my favorite because hello, look at the back of that. Oh my gosh, so pretty. And then on the front, it has a girl reading. And it says, "Reading forces you to be quiet in a world that no longer makes place for that," by John Green. Yeah. Preach, John. That is very, very true. And then this one makes me laugh. "If anyone needs me, I'll be reading. Please don't need me." And that's the back there. Like, I might have said that out loud to my children at some point. So these bookmarks are available on Amanda's Etsy shop. So I will, again, leave her Etsy shop down below. Make sure you go stock up on your fall bookmarks. And that's it. It was intense, guys. But I felt like I kept it together. I was able to fit everything into my suitcase comfortably. I could not have fit another book in there. I will say that. So I fit just enough into my suitcase. If I had more, I don't think I would have been able to make it work, but I did make this work. So it was so much fun. Again, if you have not seen any of our trip videos, I will leave all four of them linked down below. Make sure you go check them out. Make sure you go check out the other ladies as well. And today we all have book hauls going up. Again, mine's the smallest. So if you go check out the other ladies, they have a lot more than I do. We are ridiculous, 100%. All right, that's going to be it for me today. Let me know your thoughts down below. Should I prioritize any of these? Let me know, and I will see you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye.